whilst this thunder was rumbling, also the sound of church bells I could hear very clearly. Now, I live near a church, so it was actually physical bells that I was hearing. So the bells, the thunder, the water, the light. And during the biggest crash of thunder, I just heard Metatron say, "Thy will be done. Thy will be done." And I realised it linked into Hello everyone, and how are you doing? It's Amanda. Today is the 9th of September. In fact, it's the 9th day of the 9th month in a 9 year. The 9-9 portal, to be honest, has not been on my radar, but today is the day that I'm sitting down to film this, so you will be getting the energies of this particular time. I did say on my other social media yesterday that I truly believe that every day is a portal. Every day is an opportunity for us to meet ourselves, face our issues, our problems, our challenges, receive the gifts and the blessings that every day does bring, because yes, it does bring blessings and gifts. The very act of being alive in this beautiful world is a gift, and we should never forget that. But you know, I've just to back up that message that I brought through yesterday, and that's not diminishing other portals that, of course, I honour. We will be limbering up for the 1111 portal on this channel in a couple of months. That's one that I do always do something for. Also Lionsgate as well on 8/8, and others, of course. But every day is a portal. Turned on my computer this morning and a random piece of music came on, which is absolutely stunningly beautiful. It's by somebody called Dylan John Sparks. He's got 7.7 thousand subscribers, so go and give his video a like. I will link it below. It's called No More Time. It's basically piano music, but underneath the beautiful piece of music, it also says this. I'm just going to read this out because this is where I'm at. This is where I feel the eclipse energies are trying to bring us to. And it's all about self-mastery. It's all about meeting thyself. It says, imagine a world where everyone lived in peace and harmony with nature and treated each other with compassion and respect. Imagine how it would feel if we all knew our purpose and we had the time and support and community to express ourselves freely, heal our wounds and reclaim our power. Seize this moment and let go of what you have been. That person is no longer relevant to your future. Your highest future. You can be limitless, and the only time that matters is now. We all have a choice, either to live a slave to the system and to ourselves, or step forward boldly, bravely, and courageously. Yesterday, I wanted to change the world, but today I am wiser, so I will change myself. Of course, that last line is quite a famous line that's been used many times, and it's so true. Yesterday I wanted to change the world, but today I am wiser, so I will change myself. But anyway, yeah, I'll link that piece of music because it's really beautiful, and it just sums up, for me, the mood and the rhythm of these days. We are between very powerful eclipses. The eclipse that we've just had last weekend on the 7th of September, in my part of the world anyway, give or take a few hours wherever you are in different hemispheres, etc. But it was let me get this right, let me get my notes. It was a total lunar eclipse. It was also a Pisces full moon. I believe it was a full moon. Let me just double check that. Again, want to get this right. Yeah, it was a full moon. I'm going to talk about my experiences around that because they are very relevant to many of us. And I got a very profound message from Archangel Metatron for everyone that is struggling right now. So yeah, we've had the total lunar eclipse, we've had the Pisces full moon, and then we're going to have another solar eclipse at the end of this month. That's going to be in Virgo, and it will be taking place September the 21st stroke 22nd, dependent upon where you are in the world. We've also got autumn equinox on the 22nd of September, or spring equinox, again, if you're somewhere different. So it's a jam-packed month, and it may very well feel as though you have a jam-packed life. You might have a jam-packed mind full of ideas. Metatron is saying outdated beliefs and ideologies also. It's like an old filing cabinet that hasn't been gone through for quite some time, he's saying, and really old files need to be deleted off the system. So this is Metatron coming in, and he's also saying these old files to be deleted off the system is also linked into the cells within our body as well. The cells within our body, and indeed all parts of us, whether it be our mind, all of our organs as well, contain precious memories, yes, but also sometimes memories that are not necessarily conducive to us living our best life and moving forward. So say, for example, you've had something very traumatic happen to you, very challenging happen to you, which is probably most of us with varying degrees of severity. This can block us from moving forward in life if we are still paralyzed in a fear state. So there's a degree of cleansing that needs to take place in this corridor of the eclipse energies. There are old files that are being asked to be transmuted and surrendered to the divine so that they can be returned back to source and healed. And really, it is a new version of you that is wanting to come online. Now, you've heard me say this before to varying degrees of loudness, get the loud hailer out. But right now, it really is a strong, strong energy. Because the thing is, with regards to messages and energies, they come round again and again, not just in this lifetime, but in all of the lifetimes that we've been on. We hear reoccurring messages to try to give us that prompt when our energy is aligned to be able to actually receive them and do something with them, take action basically. And what Metatron is saying right now is that there is a perfect alignment right now for many of us to be able to actually make the changes that are needed so that we can have a more successful, abundant, healthy and happy future. And this thing about patterns and messages coming back around, I mean, I'm always blown away by it. I mean, it is almost to the day that it seems to happen. Because yesterday, as I say, I put up a message on Facebook and Instagram with regards to the fact that I believe every day is a portal, in response to a message which was why you're not doing anything for the 9/9 portal. And I said what I said, and also what I've just said in this video at the start. And then a Facebook memory came up, and I had delivered exactly the same message in 2023. I wasn't blown away by it. It was just another moment of like, oh, right, okay. Because I've noticed it so many times. And, that is divine orchestration, really. And who is the divine orchestrator? One of Archangel Metatron's names, he has many names by which he is known by, but he's known as the Grand Orchestrator. Almost like a piece of music that reaches a climax point where all of the pieces come together. That's what I'm meaning by alignment. So right now we have a period of time where there is a possibility for very concentrated change. If you are willing to hear it, see it, notice it, integrate it, and flow with it. So, let's get to then some of the things that have been happening. I want to take you back a few days, pre-eclipse. Something very spiritually profound, quite transcendent actually, in terms of an experience happened to me, which I'd like to share, because I think it's a very good teaching moment for us all. And in many ways, it just encapsulated, I feel, these moments that we're in, and that are available to you too, not just me, to you too. So I had been feeling last week quite down, quite sad, quite overwhelmed. I know I'm not alone in that. There were many people struggling last week. There may very well be plenty of people struggling this week. I kept using the phrase, it was as though there is a perfect storm of events, situations, problems, not necessarily my own. It was actually coming in via somebody else. It was my mum, who's very ill. A perfect storm of stuff with her that was bringing things to a head. And it felt, and it still does to a degree, quite unmanageable, and couldn't see the way forward with how to look after her, how to take care of this situation. That was just one aspect of life that felt out of control. Overwhelmed with that, but of course there were other areas as well. So yeah, feeling pretty down, but not wanting to run from that, not wanting to hide from that, just honouring that. So I'm a Cancerian. What we tend to do is we go inside our shell a little bit and we shut the door. And what you should do in that scenario is actually just feel it all, basically. You have to feel it to heal it, don't you? Anyway, on the back of this week that was very emotional and difficult, I usually every Saturday sit down to do a video for you all. And I said to John the day before, I said, I just can't do it. I haven't got anything in me to come online. And it felt like I needed to be like some sort of performing monkey for you. And I know that's not what you expect me to be, but it's just the expectation to show up with a message because it's Saturday. Couldn't do it. So we took ourselves off to an area close to me called the Purbex. And it's on the Jurassic coastline in Dorset. Don't go that often over there. It's about an hour from where we live. I live on the coastline, but the Jurassic coastline, via its nature, just contains a lot of fossils. It's ancient. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. And we went somewhere, and it was just this most divine moment. I did share some pictures of it on Facebook and Instagram, but we got down to this little cove, and it was quiet. We were the only ones on the beach. And my beach up the road is sandy. This beach was full of pebbles, but they were smooth pebbles that had been washed smooth by all of the crystal clear waters. I mean, in the UK, the waters are often not crystal clear. So this is what was so special about it. The water was completely crystal clear. You could have drank it. Well, it would have been salty, but you get my point. It was absolutely stunningly beautiful. The moment that we got down to the cove, the light was just bouncing off the waves that were just rolling in very, very softly. And it was absolutely beautiful. And I looked out at it and I just took a moment to appreciate the magnitude of the beauty of Mother Nature and of the divine, basically. I put my feet into this water on top of smoothed down rocks or stones, large pebbles. And I could feel there was a bit of seaweed as well, but it wasn't unpleasant. But the water, I mean, I'm a water baby, but this water felt so cleansing. I can't describe to you how beautiful it was. It was a transcendent moment. I could have sat there, to be honest, for hours, but anyway, I just sat with my feet in the water and I was shown this card in my mind's eye from my own Christ consciousness deck, which is a picture of Jesus when he comes and washes the disciples' feet. I believe it was Mary Magdalene, wasn't it? And this card is linked into humbleness. And it's about a surrendering of the ego, It is about being of dedicating yourself to being of service in some shape or form, or reaffirming your commitment and your contract to spirit, that whatever it is that we signed up to do in this lifetime, we will see it through and we will be given the tools that we need. And I'm just realising now, those of you that saw the photographs that I put up, I saw a blue butterfly. In fact, I'll show it to you just because I know some of you aren't on my other social media pages, because this blue butterfly, there it is. Anybody out there a butterfly expert? But the point is that in my part of the world, you don't tend to see blue butterflies like that. And I'm realising that actually when I channeled John Lennon, that the symbol that John gave us with regards to being around was the butterfly. And actually, I think it was a blue butterfly that I first identified with him. And I'm just bringing John's energy in because John Lennon's beautiful song, Imagine all the people living in peace, very much that, like the piece of prose that I've written to you, that I've spoken to you via the piece of music I've recommended today. So there was the blue butterfly, there was the crystalline water, there was the light dancing off the waves. The sky was the most beautiful blue with fluffy clouds or wispy clouds. It was just the most beautiful moment. And I'm being told by Metatron that actually what it was also about was, I think I've mentioned in previous videos, the importance of our feet right now, because our feet basically carry us through life. And it's the chakras on the feet as well. So the water cleansing all of the organs, all of the chakras within the body, because anybody that knows anything about reflexology will know that the sole of the foot, a bit like the palms of the hand, is related to all different organs within the body. It's all linked to the meridians, the energy chakras, etc. So there was something about that whole moment. So I took that with me, I came back, and then the following day was the lunar eclipse and the Pisces full moon. And what happened was that in the morning, we had a thunderstorm roll in from nowhere. And this is where I'm getting to what Metatron gave me as a message for you all as well. I just have to build the picture of how this message came in, okay? So a thunderstorm rolled in, and it was like loud, rumbling thunder from nowhere. And because I live near the sea, you know, you can just feel that it's coming in again via the water. It didn't last very long, but it felt very powerful. The sky, whilst the thunder was rumbling, was a mixture of very dark clouds, but also sun and rain. It felt like there should have been a rainbow. I didn't actually see a rainbow, but I had seen one the previous day. And whilst this thunder was rumbling, also the sound of church bells I could hear very clearly. Now I live near a church, so it was actually physical bells that I was hearing. So the bells, the thunder, the water, the light. And during the biggest crash of thunder, I just heard Metatron say, "Thy will be done. Thy will be done." And I realised it linked into the surrendering, linked into ego that we all have, the surrendering of the ego, a deepening into the energy of humbleness, being of service, whatever that means. It doesn't mean you have to be a healer. We are all of service every single day. Remember what I said about every day is a portal in terms of how you greet somebody, how you treat somebody, whether it's online, whether it's in real life. Every day is a portal. So thy will be done. So number one, there was a surrendering of ego and an upgrade linked into I just want to say divinity, because that's what I was feeling the previous day. It was like meeting divinity, but via the natural elements, because they were all there: air, fire from the sun, water from the rain, earth. Obviously, it was all there. But thy will be done. Also, in that moment, I knew that Metatron was also saying this to me and to you, that anything can change in the blink of an eye. That what right now feels maybe intolerable, unnavigable, that you just do not have the fuel in your tank to be able to deal with it, even if you want to deal with it. It's just a step too far, basically. It's a step too far. It's the last mile, maybe. But it's very real, this feeling of complete and utter overwhelm. I think I used the word existential exhaustion in my last video on the comet. And I was talking about the fact that the comet's energy was also reflecting us, because it was part of us. In fact, it's probably us coming back from the future. If you've seen that video, you know what I'm talking about. But I mentioned existential exhaustion, this traversing of Earth over many lifetimes, not just this lifetime. And remember, the people or the situations, it doesn't have to be people, it can also be situations. You might have always in every lifetime had a problem with money, always had a problem with lack, always had a problem with health. But there will also be relationship issues that are coming up. That person that is, for whatever reason, demanding a lot of your time, or just you're at a crossroads with, it's happened so many times before in other lifetimes. That's why you're back to look at it again. You're being given another chance to master your reactions and how you deal with things. So what right now feels just overwhelming, in a moment, thy will be done. Yes, there's a nod to let God take over. Surrender, let go. Let it play out how it's meant to play out. Trust the process and have faith. Yes. Surrender the ego, which means surrendering control, that you think you know the way that it should be handled. Or maybe you're wrestling with the ego because your ego likes to know what to do and to be in control. But right now you're in a situation where you're feeling powerless. But either way, thy will be done. Whatever is to happen will happen, because it is ordained, it is fated. And God is in all of it. God is in all of it. And God is with you as well. So I don't often actually mention the word God in my videos, but there is this energy of source light, God, creator, whatever you want to call it. And of course, Metatron as the lesser Yahweh, the lesser name for God. He is right up there with regards to the ability to help us understand that we can get through these very human struggles, because he was once human. He was Enoch. And indeed, one of my next videos I'm going to do is actually a video all about Archangel Metatron. I mean, I know many of you have done the training with me. I do Archangel Metatron training, just to help people understand who he is, what he can do for you, how you can heal with his energy, etc. And I will be doing another course of that quite soon. But I've never actually done a full video, I don't think, where I'm just talking about Metatron and letting his energy come through for 60 minutes or whatever it is. And I'm going to do that next, because the reason is the energy is just very powerful right now. In many ways, having worked with Metatron since 2005, it feels as though this moment right now is perfect alignment actually for his energy to be coming into more people, for more people to be at a level where they are ready to meet him. And the point is that when you meet Metatron, you're actually meeting an aspect of yourself, because what he's all about is helping you to face yourself. And, you know, that's why I've done self-mastery decks. It's all about that. Okay, so that was my experience, basically, around lunar eclipse. And it just felt as though the elements, more than anything, were talking very loudly. But I also just pick up this energy right now where we are being able to see very clearly what it is that we need to let go of, even if it's an uncomfortable process, which includes past versions of ourself and indeed present versions of ourself. because there is a new identity, there is a new cloak, there is a new way that wants to come in and work through the energy of Amanda, James, Tim, whoever you are, out there. And this new energy that wants to work through you, yes, you can work with ascended masters, etc., but ultimately it's a higher version of your own higher self, okay? It's a higher version of who you are now that wants to come in and start leading the show, basically, and taking you to new places, which of course is going to require that what is outworn and no longer useful in your life is going to be falling away. So, we know that eclipses are always about endings and new beginnings. And yes, this is true. And yes, you will see examples of that in your life. But there is a much deeper cathartic experience going on. And not just within ourselves, but within the wider world as well. One example of it was, and I'm just going to bring this in, on the day of the lunar eclipse, let me get the information up, the Pope Leo, I don't know what the official term is, inaugurated or whatever, it's sanctified, basically a new saint. Now, why I'm mentioning this, and it's less to do with, well, it is to do with the Catholic Church, but ultimately, in the ascension movement, in the awakening movement, there is this false belief that basically all of the old structures will fall away and no longer be there. The truth is that there's always going to be a place for traditional religion, even in New Earth, because New Earth is about being able to have full expression of whatever it is that you need to experience. Not everybody might agree with me on that, but the point is that institutions will change. The tower falls and anything that is rotten will be taken out, but a new church effectively will rise, maybe closer to what Jesus, for example, always wanted it to be, less about obviously the ornate stuff and the money. But anyway, that's by the by. I want to mention this because it happened on lunar eclipse. So Pope Leo, in front of a crowd of thousands, particularly a very young crowd, this is the point about it, canonized, it says here, Generation Z's first saint. And he gave, I didn't actually watch the whole speech, I just read a few of the little transcripts from it. He said to the crowd of young people, make your lives a masterpiece. Does that not tie in with what I'm saying to you in terms of every day as a portal to show the best of who you are rather than the worst of who you are, rather than showing the wounded part of yourself, the victimized part of yourself, the part of yourself that says, I can't do it, it's never going to happen, to weave a masterpiece. And of course, weaving a masterpiece actually does include the broken bits. It's just that the broken bits are not the only thing that are defining you. You are transcending it. So he canonized this young guy. And what's interesting about it is I believe that it's Carlo Acutis is this young chap's name. I think he was only about 15, 16. I might do another video on him if you're interested. If you are, do drop a comment and I will do a longer video. But just for this one, what Pope Leo said was, even because of course Assisi is also where Francis of Assisi came from. So there's two saints from the same area now. And the point of all of this is that this resurrection moment for the church, millions of people, particularly younger people, are attracted to this story because the church knows how to reinvent itself. We can be cynical about that and say, oh God, but the truth is, you should never diss what is real for another person. So if another person is getting inspiration from something, how can that be a bad thing? I haven't got the full transcript to show you, but maybe I'll do a longer video on that. But I did just want to weave that in because ultimately, when we talk about portals, it's not just us that has the opportunity to transcend and to transform. It is institutions, it's governance, it's everything basically. So, right. The other energy that I've been feeling very strongly recently, since this eclipse period, the run up to it, and now I'm sure it's going to carry on through it, is actually the energy of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit. So this is the card from the Christ Consciousness deck, and it actually says, Holy Spirit, work through me. I mean, maybe this is just me. I don't think it is, though. I think sometimes the Holy Spirit can feel like a very abstract thing, just abstract, just hard to sort of get a grasp with. What is it? How does it work? Where actually, if we can just simplify and open ourselves up to receive the gifts of the Holy Spirit. I mean, certainly in the New Testament, when the Holy Spirit comes into the disciples, they're able to, speak with tongues, etc. But that is basically, it's channeling. It's bringing through information from a higher source, whether it be Jesus, any other ascended master, your own higher self, but it is from love. It's from love. Makes me laugh, so many of these channelers out there right now who are supposedly channeling higher masters, but all they're bringing through is the voice of fear and worry and worst case timelines. And they'll always couch that with, well, people need to know to prepare. But ultimately, if you're channeling a very high vibrational energy, it will always be the voice of love, and it will always leave you feeling better, not worse. That's always the thing to remember. I think maybe more people to be touched with the Holy Spirit, for the Holy Spirit to work through more people, is what our world needs right now. Okay. I did pull this card for the lunar eclipse. I know I didn't come online because I wasn't feeling up to it, but the lunar eclipse energies of the last couple of days, I got the card of new beginnings. In fact, I got 2 new beginning cards from 2 different decks, but I love this one, particularly set against that full moon. But it came out with this card, which is the purity energy. It actually says snow moon, which I think is quite interesting because it was actually described as a blood red moon. Very red in the sky. And of course, from a colour therapy perspective, that intrigues me that we've got snow moon for the blood red moon, because when we are able to transcend our base chakra wounding, which is in the bloodline, which is red, in fact, all red issues. I mean, red can also be a very positive colour, but there are a lot of problems in red. There is a lot of trauma in red. War is red. Anger is red, aggression is red, ancestral trauma is red, etc. When we're able to transcend that and bring in the crystalline light, and what is snow? Snow is cleansing, it's purifying. It feels as though there is an opportunity here for us to really root around, is what Metatron is saying, root around in the base chakra and the roots of the family tree, to cleanse, basically, to cleanse, to heal, to hear, to bear witness as well. Yesterday I was at a funeral. I was actually supporting somebody else. It wasn't my loss, it was somebody else's loss. But this particular lady was 96, 97 when she died. She'd lived a very long life. And I only knew her as an older woman, a much older woman. But when you sit through a funeral service and you actually see what they look like in their 20s and the whole path of somebody's life, from very young girl to, in all the different stages, I just found that a very profound experience as well, because I think we get very stuck in terms of how we view somebody, that, you know somebody now based on the age they are. Maybe you've known them for a while, but the point is we get stuck on ages. We also get stuck on ages with ourselves. We don't allow ourselves the opportunity to be the age we are. I actually don't find it a compliment when people say to me, oh, you look a lot younger in this video. I don't mind looking my age. I am the age that I am. And it's almost as though, again, take a look at yourself. Yes, it's sort of a compliment, but it's a bit of a backhanded compliment, really, because why should we not be allowed to look our age? Hopefully, the best compliment you can give somebody is actually you look good for your age, or you look a good a good 96, you know, you look a good 77 or whatever you are. You know, why should we be trying to look 30 years younger than we are? It's nonsense. But it's the whole thing about the roots of the family tree, but also the strand of our life from birth to, you know, from cradle to grave, basically. It's as though all of that, there is this light being shone upon it. And what you're going to be finding during this eclipse period, I feel, is there's maybe going to be one particular age that you're being drawn to look at. What happened to you at age 11, for example? I mean, for me, age 11 was, of course, one of the most profound moments in my life that changed everything. I mean, it's perfection in orchestration. I realise that now because I work with Metatron. I'm always banging on about the number 11 being a gateway energy. It's Metatron's energy. But age 11, that was one of the most traumatic times of my life, linked into loss of control, basically, and power, and being labelled as something that I wasn't, and having to rise like the phoenix from the ashes of that moment, but all perfect. So, you know, for me, it's not having age 11, the spotlight shone on it. It's maybe another age. But, you know, just think about what's coming up for you, what's going on in your dream state. If you are, for example, dreaming of somebody that you haven't seen for like 30 years, well, what happened 30 years ago? You know, go back, look at it. That the moon and the sun are coming together to highlight and illuminate and burn away and transmute that which we cannot take into the new. It really feels as though these eclipses, we haven't even got to equinox yet, but the eclipses in particular are training ground, Metatron is saying, for the year to come, next year, 2026. 2026 by nature feels very powerful. It will be a number 10 year, which boils down to a number 1. Which is the new beginning. So it's going to be a softer landing for all of us if we can do a bit more of the work now. Now, when I say do the work, it doesn't necessarily imply, you know, you've got to go off and see a healer and do this, do that. More than anything, it's just about allowing yourself space and time to be, to feel, to honour what is going on in your life right now. You know, I said yesterday that this thing about every day is a portal, it's also to do with chop wood, carry water. So in this moment, today, as you're watching me, whatever you've next got to do, or whatever you've got to do tomorrow, but let's just talk about today, what you've got to do today, make that a masterpiece. If you've got to go and cook dinner, make it the best dinner you can make yourself, to feed your body, to nourish yourself, to not just rush out a ready meal from the fridge, but to try to work with the ingredients you may have in your larder. And, you know, I know that's triggering because I'm the first one to often reach for the most quick and easy thing. But ultimately, in the long run, it's not helping, is it? It's not helping the body. So it's honouring the body, honouring the task at hand, honouring the responsibility or the duty, but also very much, how many times have you heard me talk about priorities with Archangel Metatron? It's almost as though the truth is we can only be good or excel at a number of things at one time. I could make a joke here about women are good multitaskers, but I'm not really in a jokey mood. But the truth, there is a truth to it. You can't excel at everything. There is only a set amount of hours in a particular day. So what takes priority? What needs you? What requires your attention? Do it to the best of your ability. That's really what's coming through. Okay, I'm going to pull a couple more cards. I don't know whether you can actually see what's sitting on my desk here. I will just allude to these because they are beautiful, and I have to pack them off and send them to Tracy soon because we're going to be making a spray for Gaia, Mother Earth. And what came to me is that we need the energies of different types of crystals for the crystal mix So somebody very kindly sent me some Andaras last week, and they are just gorgeous. I've been sent Andaras from a few of you in the past. Some are personal to me, that I keep for my own personal use, but these are very much for the collective. And actually, as I'm talking about them, I will just quickly show you a couple of the colours. I'll shine a light onto them so you can see what I'm talking about. But the colours of New Earth. So, I mean, look at that. Is that not beautiful? I don't know how that makes you feel, where that energy wants to go. But again, it's light, it's an upgrade, it's a download of frequency. It's light that belongs to New Earth, not Old Earth. This one is beautiful as well. So thank you to Lois who sent these to me. There was also the condition that these came to me and that I needed to receive them with an open heart. She didn't want anything from me for them. And that felt as though that was also how New Earth is built. And when I say she didn't want anything from me, I think there was an energy of she appreciates the work I do. So it was like a thank you, but also these are for the collective to help other people. I'm passing them on. I don't need these anymore in my own collection. They're for other people now. That also feels as though it's very much linked into the New Earth energy as well that we're moving towards. Look at that one. Isn't that beautiful? Let that go wherever it needs to go. That one feels as though it wants to go straight into your third eye, for example. And just this one as well, blue. It's rather gorgeous. My hands always shake when I pick these up. So if you can see my shaky hands on the camera, that is the energy of the Andaras doing that. The red one, I'm wondering whether I should be keeping this for myself. It's just so gorgeous. But also it's what I just said to you. I don't know whether that goes into the New Earth spray or not, because I'm thinking we've transcended the energy of red. One final one to show you. It's another green. There's a lot of green energies. And of course, green traditionally is linked into the energy of the heart, isn't it? See, my hands are shaking again. Because it's difficult to hold the energy of New Earth. Also, for those of us that are helping birth it, it's quite a responsibility. There's many of us trying to do it, but keep on going is what Metatron is saying. Sorry, there was something else I wanted to say about New Earth and giving and receiving without expectation. Yeah, because it links into this card, the card of Humbleness. Wanting those beautiful crystals and the light to just be of service, to do their work. No fanfare. I very much got the impression that the lady didn't want loads of shout outs, and you know, it's not about that, and it's not about, oh, go to her because she's got them and she can buy, nothing like that. That's not saying that people that sell Andaras, there's anything wrong with that, because there are some beautiful people, including people that follow me, that do that. It was just for these in particular, they wanted to come to be of service. And actually, the other Andaras I've received before from Alchemy for Soul, I will give them a shout out, alchemyforsoul.com. You're in USA, aren't you, Michael and Denise, I think it is. Hi, if you're watching this. You've sent me some beautiful ones, but these feel more for my personal use, just because, you know, I need that as a teacher, just to be able to get up in the morning some days and do this work. Yeah, that's a beautiful one, isn't it? Linked into Christed consciousness. So I hold that one very close and dear to me. But yeah, there's something about New Earth. You know, we need to be less bothered about doing it for praise. It's just about showing up with New Earth. And I tell you what, my friends, you know, I say that, but look at our world right now. Look at the culture, particularly online. The me generation, you know, the selfie brigade the whole time. I mean, we've all done it. I take selfies as well, but there's a whole generation just obsessed, you know, with the ego and the reflection. It's very narcissistic. You know, how do I look today? How do I look in this pose? How do I look here? When we catch ourselves in that in that, we need to really be stepping into this energy more, as much as we can. I mean, I've been called out on it before. My youngest daughter called me out on it a couple of years ago. I always remember the moment. We were somewhere very beautiful in nature, and I said to Sophs, I'm just going to go and sit over there. There was a lovely view. There was a bench and there was a nice view. And so I'm just going to go and sit over there and just, see the view. And then I went and sat on the bench. I got my camera out. I was probably going to take a photograph of myself sitting on the bench. And she said, I thought you were just going to look at the view. Because, the youngsters know. And she'd caught me and she was right to do it. And I said, oh, you're right. I'll put the phone away. That was the other thing about the beach in the Jurassic Beach this last weekend. Yeah, I did take some pictures because I wanted to share it with you. But most of the time, no, I was just taking it in. I was breathing it in. I was present for it. It's about being present. Okay, let's pull a couple of cards. So this deck is the Sacred Destiny deck by Denise Lynn. Let's see where we are then, a couple of days after the lunar eclipse. Let's see where we are now. So a couple of days after the lunar eclipse. We've got the card of wonders and we've got the card of enlightenment. Nice. What do I want to say about that? The wonders card, does that not look a little bit like the comet? I mean, I'm just saying the comet because I know some people don't believe it is a comet, but I'm not going to sit here every time and say it's a comet, it's a spaceship, it's this, it's that. Atlas 3i or 3i Atlas, whichever way round it is, I can't remember now. But does that not look like something which is a wonder that is streaking through the night sky? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it Superman? Is it us? Is it our superhero powers? All of that. Because we've manifested that. I said that in the last video. We've manifested it. We're meant to be looking up, wondering what it is. And as I said in the last video, keeping an open mind. The worst that you can do at the moment is say, it's definitely this. It's definitely that. Because I know. That is ego. It's ego. You can have an opinion, but keep an open mind. Because the beautiful thing about it, and I am going to do an update video on it at some point because it doesn't get closer to Earth for a good month or so. I think it's the end of October, isn't it? So we've got some time to play with. It's going to keep changing. It's going to keep us on our toes. That's what's so brilliant about it. How wonderful to have something that is it's a book with blank pages which we are writing what we think and what we're experiencing, but it's going to keep changing. Fantastic. Because we're on a journey towards enlightenment. Enlightenment, self-mastery. Keep hearing. This is an opportunity for self-mastery. This period that we're in is very, very powerful. We've got the energy of love as well, and we've also got the card of inner peace. And we've got power. Okay, love, peace, and power. Love, peace, and power. Does it get much more powerful than that? I don't think so. Love, peace, and power. And look, we've got the lightning, the storm. Thy will be done. I'm going to use a spray now just to get some messages, more messages through. What have I been drawn to using recently? I'm talking recently, I mean the last couple of weeks. Number one, spiritual protection feels relevant now, Metatron is saying. Because he doesn't want to use important because that makes people go into fear. Oh my God, there's something out there. No. Okay, so spiritual protection. Sorry, this is the Archangel Metatron spiritual protection spray. Obviously, excuse me, I've also taught about the armour of God, putting on the armour of God, using crystals, lots of different ways we can protect ourselves. What are we protecting ourselves from? It's more about incubation. It's more about, we are like in a chrysalis state. Without being, corny, it is the butterfly that it wants to break out of the chrysalis. But right now, that chrysalis is... well, it can be fragile. This is where sometimes our moods are up and down. It can feel fragile. It just needs some protection, basically. That's what it is. Because we are going through transformation, we're going through massive change, massive upgrade, and how we flex those new upgrade muscles is via using them. That's why I keep coming back to it's in your day-to-day life. How you take that phone call, the tone that you use. When you're challenged by something you see online, can you either gracefully reply or even walk on by because maybe it's not your fight, you know? Or does the ego want to wade in and have its say, etc.? Okay, so spiritual protection. The crown chakra feels very alive right now, is what I want to say. And I do feel that maybe some of these feelings of depressive energies, lower energies. I have to put a medical disclaimer now before I say anything else, because of course depression is a chronic condition, and if you're feeling really bad you do need to go and see a doctor, just get some guidance on it. But for me personally, I know that I'm not sure if it's Metatron or Jesus, because I work with them both so closely now. I think it's both of them. I think it's Metatron saying it. It's just, okay, I got confused there because Metatron is referencing Jesus, okay? Because Metatron is saying you're either wearing a crown of thorns or you're wearing a crown of flowers, you know, like a garland of flowers. But the thing is, you can't get to the garland of flowers until you have noticed that you've got a crown of thorns on. The sadness, the pain, the trauma, the challenge, the suffering as well. This is a time of trying to transcend suffering. And I'm not talking about the world's suffering, I'm talking about your own suffering. Because to help alleviate the world's suffering, we have to be able to, just want to use the right words, we have to be able to understand our own suffering, listen to our own suffering, bear witness to our own suffering, but not stay in suffering, okay? There are people on this planet, the truth is, and you might be one of them, who have enormous suffering in their life, but they're not defined by it. They still somehow are able to get up, live the best life they can, take it day by day. It's that type of thing. So yeah, you wearing a crown of thorns with the cross on your back, which is just getting heavier and heavier and heavier, or thy will be done. Thy will be done. Jesus didn't stay on the cross, okay? The crown of thorns was taken off. Ultimately, it's the risen energy, it's the risen, resurrected energy is where we are all heading. A transcended, more enlightened, more awakened state. But which one are you identifying with? There's a very powerful card actually in this deck. I think it's this deck, let me just see, which has got an old woman with a very heavy burden on her back. And it's very 10 of Wands type energy. I thought it was this deck. Is that one? No. Yeah, this one. Look at that. You see this card in this deck, it actually says resilience. Sorry, let me just put my glasses on. I can't see what the camera's doing. I think you can see that. It says resilience, which is almost like, oh, well done, you know. I mean, yes, well done if you have got a lot of challenge and you're still carrying on. But would it not be better if we were just able to take off this burden? Now, that doesn't mean that we can just magic away, for example, an illness or a loss or a bereavement or anything else that you're really struggling with. But it's about lightening the load, okay, via the crown, allowing new energies to come in to support you. Most importantly, the divine, okay. Because what she's carrying on her back there as well, it looks like a bag of snakes. I don't know if it's meant to be a bag of snakes. Goes back to what Metatron was saying at the beginning, the opportunity right now to be able to clear old files, that maybe this is just my lot, this is the way it is. I always will just have a hard life. Life is hard. Life is a struggle. Well, it may well be, and it may well feel overwhelming at times, but ultimately, we are also here in God's garden, and there isn't just snakes in it. There's also much else that is beautiful and abundant. Let's pull another card that goes with that one. So what guidance is there, please, Metatron, linked into the burdens on our back? Faith. Faith set against a powerful moon. Powerful moon. This Pisces full moon, the lunar eclipse, absolutely testing our faith. And it shows a pregnant woman. But look what she's pregnant with. She's pregnant with the energy of new earth. Faith. Faith can move mountains, is what I'm hearing. And then there's another F on the bottom of the deck, which is fruition. Fruition. And what a difference that card is to this card. Look at the difference in that. To go from that to that. To go from complete burden and unable to carry on to a place which is more abundant, basically. Abundance. So keep the faith, my friends. Keep the faith. I'm going to end with just a little message from Archangel Metatron. And I'll be back as soon as I can. This is the Flame Attunement and Connection Master Spray. Bright orange. Archangel Metatron. In the silence, there is progress. In periods of doubt, there is an opportunity to sink into your roots, your support network, your faith, us, yourself, and your mission. To be able to say no to that which is irrelevant, to be able to say yes to that which is opening up, to be able to show up for yourself, do the best you can, show the world who you are, why you came, your frequency, your ability, your presence, and your time. In a world of great change, great chaos, be the agent of peace, be the quiet strength, serve few masters, turn away from distractions, that which is out to derail and sink and deflate, and be around that which helps keep you buoyant, uplifted, heard, supported, and seen. I am with you always, as many of us are, in spirit. He's showing me many arms outstretched, seeking support. Many, many hands reaching out for support and help at this time. And he's showing me the huge array of different spiritual energies of the highest light and love that are stepping forward to take your hand, help you up, back onto your feet, align you to these times, so that this period that we're in right now can be as fortuitous and beneficial for you as possible. Be at one with your divine nature. See the divine in others. See the divinity that is all around. And be the light. Be the light that shines, even in the darkest moments. Be the light that illuminates. Be the light. Be the light. Be the light. It is what you truly are. Take a deep breath in and out. And with thanks to Archangel Metatron and for all he brings, and to you and all you bring to this world, I will say goodbye for now. And I'll be back very soon. Take great care. We will look at the energies as we get closer to the solar eclipse, which is, as I say, 21st, 22nd of September. We will also honour the energy of equinox. There's a lot going on, but right now, do the best you can every day, and know that you did that when you rest your head on your pillow at night. Lots of love, everybody. Take great care. Give the video a like if it's helped you. Thank you. Bye-bye for now. Bye.